Okay, so a lot of people have asked me, what goes into the Canon 1DX? Why is it such an investment? And what are the aspects and customizations you can do that make it so special? Canon has thrown in everything, including the kitchen sink, with the EOS Canon 1DX, and they've done a beautiful job of it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to walk you through the menu. Now, we're doing a full review on separate videos. This is just going to be a menu-only video on YouTube, so be sure to search for those other videos reviews we'll be doing with the full review of the Canon 1DX. So let's start off. This is the shoot menu, and we're going to go through and customize several different things here. The white balance. You can see here different features of the white balance you can take and adjust for and everything else. You can also set a custom white balance if you want to take and do that. You have that ability. We will go into 2 details on each of these. Here you can see you can set the white balance in a ABGM pattern. Color space, you can choose between RGB and Adobe RGB. Picture style, you can choose between several different picture styles to customize your menu and everything else. The beauty of this camera is just what you can do with it. Here you can see lens aberration correction. It's sensing what lens is currently on the camera, an EF 135mm. So you can enable that or disable it if you want. You've got multiple exposure setups so you can take and do here. Let's go to the next area of the shoot area. So you've got JPEG quality. You can take and adjust this between large, M1, M2, and small. You've got image type size quality where you can choose what you want to shoot with, whether it's with RAW, full RAW, and also or not create JPEGs, whichever you want to take and do. You've got your ISO speed settings here where you can take and adjust those. You've got your auto lighting optimizer. Long exposure noise reduction. This is important if you want to eliminate some noise. High ISO speed NR. This is good if you want to adjust that. And the highlight tone priority. You can enable or disable this sort of feature. Moving to the third aspect of the shoot menu, you've got your image review. You can, of course, set this. Your beep, you can enable, disable. Your release shutter without card, on or off. Your mirror lockup, which is good to have if your mirror ever does lock up. You can obtain data for removing your dust using software. Your external speedlight control. This can help integrate and work with your flash. So that's always important. Here you can customize some different things of what buttons will do for disable stills in movies. You can set everything up as the way you want it. The AF mode, you can choose between live mode, L live mode, and quick mode. Your grid display that you want to take and have when you're shooting. Your movie recording size, you can choose from also here. You've got your sound recording where you can have a wind filter disablement. You can auto set your sound recording fields and how you want them. You can do silent shooting and set up several different modes. And you can do metering timer where you adjust your meter times. Let's go to the next area, time code. So time code, you can go in here, record count times, start time settings, record times, drop frame, enable, etc., etc. Silent control, you can enable or disable this. When you're shooting movies, that's probably good to have sometimes. Movie shoot, you can shoot some of your adjustment buttons there. And then the next thing we'll do is we'll go to the AF1 AF configure tool, topic or area or tab, whatever you want to call these little babies on the top here. So you can choose between different modes of AF shooting, where you can shoot between different cases that are pre-set up, pre-designed. And of course, you can adjust the track sensitivity, accelerator, decelerator tracking. You can do all sorts of customization in here. Here you can adjust the AI servo, first image priority or second image priority. You've got your USM lens electronic MF, and you can choose between several different functions there that you want to take and choose from. AF assistant beam firing, you can choose from here. One shot AF release prior, you can adjust that. Just an amazing amount of customization. So you've got your auto AF point selection here. You can choose between on and off. Lens drive when AF is possible. Selectable autofocus points. You can choose from either the full 61 or all the way just down to 9, whichever one you prefer. Several different manual selection points. Your autofocus area selection method. You can use either the main dial or the M function button. Your orientation linked to an AF point. You can choose between that and your initial AF point. You can adjust here whether you do it manually or use the one that's in the initial area there. There you go. All right, so let's go to the next step. You've got your manual autofocus point selection pattern you can choose from, where it stops at the edges or it's continuous. It's got the autofocus point display during focus. You can choose between several different ways you want that set up. The VF display illumination, you can do auto, or you can just have it on or off. The AF status in viewfinder, you can choose between that, and the autofocus micro adjustment as to how you want it to adjust. So those are all the ones in the AF area, tab, whatever you want to call them. Now we enter the play tab. This is where you can deal with protecting images, rotating images, erasing images, print order of images, and image copy. And then the next little button over, we'll go to raw image processing, resizing, rating, slideshow, and image transfer. Of course, we don't have anything on this card to work with. And how you want your image jump to work. If you want to jump when you rotate the main dial, 10 photos, 100 photos, or time, etc., etc. So you can choose all that stuff. Full customization. I mean, this is why you pay for this camera, because not only is it a great camera for shooting, it's got great stuff in it when you can adjust it just the way you want it. So you've got highlighted alert here where you can do that. And then I think this is a pretty simple menu, just enable, disable. And then you've got autofocus point, playback grid. You can choose between several that are there. Histogram, you can choose between brightness or RGB. The movie play count, record time or code time code, whichever one you want. Magnification, you can adjust the magnification adjustment as to what you want to take and blow up when you're looking at your pictures, everything else. And you can you set this up to control it over HDMI when you're playing this on your TV or something, back all your pictures. So we'll enter the next tab, which is your setup tab, and you've got your record function card folder selection. There's 2 cards that you can put into the unit for the 1DX. You've got your number 1 CF card, number 2 if you use 2 cards, I should probably mention, and you can decide, which one works for you and records first, etc., etc. File numbering, you can choose from here and control file names. You can control auto rotate. You can control whether you want to do that using your computer, and of course, how to format the cards when you put them in. Auto power off, you can choose between that. LCD brightness on your LCD screen that we're looking at actually right now. Your date and time. Looks like I've got an interesting time here. August of last year, so you can take and do your adjustments there. Language, English you can choose from, and wow, it looks like there's a whole mess of different languages you can utilize with this device. I hope I never get it in the wrong setting. VF grid display, you can choose there, and the info button that displays stuff, you can even choose what it displays, so very good that way. The next one over is your video system. You can choose between NTSC and PAL. I believe PAL is really popular in Europe and other countries. Battery info, you can see how your battery's doing. I really like this feature because you can actually go in and see, how much time you're doing, how much shutter count you probably have left, and how well your battery's performing. So that's very cool. Sometimes you're looking at your camera going, I don't know how many shots I have left in here. So you can do sensor cleaning manually, or you can enable it to be done when you turn on and off the camera. Communication status function, you can choose different communications where you take and enable the networking part of the device. You can see the networking light coming on there. And if you're familiar with our walk around, there is a LAN networking plug that goes into the side of the Canon 1DX, and by doing so you can create a LAN network and plug it into your LAN. So this of course works through that system of setting it up, and we're going to go ahead and disable that so that we don't have that red blinking light the whole time. GPS device settings you can disable or enable, and of course once you do that, you've got to have a GPS unit connected. This does not have its own internal one, but you have the option to utilize it if you so choose. Let's see, save load cam settings on the card. You can save to the card or you can load from the card. Custom shooting modes. You can set up C1, C2, C3 modes when you're in custom shooting, and you can basically have your settings all programmed in for you. You can clear all the camera settings back to normal so that you can start over again. That's no fun. Copyright information. You can put in your author's name and copyright details for your photos. Those are important when you're sharing them on the internet. System status display. You can see here how that works. Let's see, firmware. This is the firmware, of course, that tells you where your firmware is. And, of course, if you want to update it, you would use this menu to do so. So moving out of setup and into the CFN exposure tab, if you will. So we've got your exposure level increments. You can do this and adjust your stops. So you can do this in a third, or ones, or twos, half stop, whatever. You got your ISO speed setting increment settings, your bracketing auto cancel on or off. You got your bracketing sequence. You can adjust total customization of what you want to take and do. Number of bracketed shots, spot meter linked to the AF point, safety shift. So you got that. You can adjust your shutter speed between your aperture and your ISO. And going back to the top, let's look at the next section in the C function 2. So you've got restrict shooting modes you can take and do. So you can switch between customizations you want to take and do to restrict shooting modes you don't want to have pop up. That's good. Maybe you're just a person who just wants to shoot in manual all the time, so you can just do that. Here we have the restrict metering modes, where you can restrict the value of metering that you're going to have depending on what you want. Maybe you just have a favorite and you just want to shoot that way. Here we have the metering used in manual exposure adjustment you can choose from. Set shutter speed range, so you can kind of put some limits to that. Set aperture range, so you can set the aperture range as to what your camera will take and do. 1 to 91, that's pretty freaking awesome. AE micro adjustment, you can set it on or off. And you got your FE micro adjustment for fine tuning flash exposure metering. And let's go back to the next tab, Continuous shooting speed, you can set that up as to how many shots you want to have, high speed or low speed. Limit your shot count, 75 shots. Wow. Restrict your drive modes, you can do that also. Next tab over, you got your focusing screen. You can go standard or L. I don't know if that means large. You can do your viewfinder on or info during the exposure, during bulb, and record image size setting you can take and do there for the rear panel, the LCD panel, or the disable button. So let's move to the next one. You got your dial direction during TV and AV, a normal or reverse directional. You can set your AV setting without lens on or off. You got your multifunction lock. You can set this for either the main dial, the quick dial, control dial, or the multifunction. You got your custom controls in here where you can virtually go in and customize all this sort of different buttons as to what you want to have them do in functions. This can be really great if you like just doing things your way. And you have the button functions for the lock and the microphone on this device, and you can set up how you want to have that doing and have it operate. Okay, so next one over is add cropping information. You can add any crop information that you take and want to put on there. Timing duration you can adjust here for the timer. Shutter release lag. You can see here a lot of customization. Memo audio quality. When you're leaving a memo to a picture, you can take and decide how high quality you want. Obviously, if you're doing a lot of memos, you may want to make it lower. You've got your default erase option. That's how that works. And you got your same exposure for new aperture on iOS TV speeds and all that good stuff. And you can clear all the custom functions and start over very simply and easy, which makes it very nice. The next tab over is very simple. It's My Menu Settings, where you can set up your own menu of stuff and be able to take and create what you want. So full customization you can do with the Canon 1DX, and why would you expect anything less really when it comes down to it? Okay, so one other menu feature that's very unique to the Canon 1DX, not only does it have the, on the top of the device, it has your clear screen LCD where you can take and see what's going on. It has this file folder area, and you can use it to customize different things within the camera in and of itself. We have 2 card readers, so you can choose between the first or second card that you have in the case. If you have 2 CF cards in here, of course, you can choose between your image size settings, whether it's large, medium, 1, 2, small, raw, medium raw, or small. You can do that all from this menu right here as you so choose. You can even see what folder you're in each of the different cards, and you can also see what file number you're on. Now, if you're using several GPS, Bluetooth, wired LAN connection, different things, other elements will show up in the top of here, depending upon what you're shooting with and what you've got attached to the camera. The FHD refers to full high-definition recording quality for if we record videos. And of course, this will change depending upon if we go to SD or HD. So there's several other different features that will pop up here, but this is the basics of what you'll see in operations and working, and in addition to what you'll see out of any Canon camera, this back area. Just a top-of-the-line camera with top-of-the-line photographers in mind. And of course, just a great camera body. So there you have it. It's the walk around the Canon 1DX menu system. So you can see how that works. Be sure to check it out. Be sure to watch for the full version we're going to take and do of the full review of the Canon, the walk around, the pictures, the menu, and everything else on the ChrisVossShow.com.